Hello, it's Adam from Adam's Mockups. This video is my step-by-step guide to creating professional clothing mockups as a complete beginner. This is the same method I've used to create mockups for some of the top clothing brands all around the world, and by the end of this video you will be able to create all of these designs from scratch. I'm making this video as my previous video is now outdated, as we have got new mockups and new techniques to design our mockups, and I'm going to show you all that in this video. The number one software that I recommend you use, whether you are on computer, laptop or iPad, is called Adobe Illustrator. This software is free for 14 days and then there is a monthly fee, but just Google Adobe Illustrator and it will be the top result. I will also leave a link below. Alternatively, you can use vectorp.com, which is 100% free and online, but in this video I will be using Adobe Illustrator. So here we are inside of Adobe Illustrator. This is just an artboard that I have made. I've listed everything that we're gonna go through in this video. I've also added some of my mockups that I have made here, but we're gonna delete all of these and we're gonna create them from scratch, step by step, so I can show you all of the steps. So I'm gonna select all of these and just delete them. As for how to create your own artboard, when you first open up Adobe Illustrator, this box should pop up. If not, just go to File and then New, like I just did. You want to create an artboard that is 1920 pixels by 1080. This is just a nice size that I like to use. You can name your artboard and you want to make sure it's set to pixels in the right orientation, which is landscape, and then just press create. And I'm now just going to hop into my mockup pack. Before I show you all the tools, I'm going to select my mockups so that we have something to work with. So to start, I'm just going to pick a basic t-shirt. I'm going to go with basic tee V3. I'm also going to select soccer shirt V1, flared sweatpants. I'm going to take the basic zip hoodie V3, and I'm going to take the Balaclava hoodie. I'm just holding shift and clicking anywhere on each of them. The sets are nicely grouped together, so you just need to click once on each, hold shift, and I'm going to do Control C to copy. I'm going to go back into the artboard I made, press Control V, and they're just going to paste in my artboard like this. I'm going to select each of them and just organize them nicely into my artboard, because currently they are scattered all over the place. Here we are. So I've got all of my mockups nicely put together. I'm going to start with the most basic. So I've got all of my mockups nicely compiled here, and I'm going to just go through all of the tools one by one. There's 6 tools here, 5 or 6 tools here that you need to know. I will explain them individually on this t-shirt. I'm going to use this t-shirt to explain them, but you will see me use all of the tools when I start designing these mockups. So the top one you have here is your selection tool. This is V on your keyboard, and this is just for selecting everything. Basic, just grabbing everything. You can drag and hold and select multiple things. All of these mockups are currently grouped together. When you bring them in from the mockup pack, they will be all grouped together, but on any of them you can just select, right click and ungroup, and now they're in their separate parts, and you can change the colors. I can select the collar and the base and change the color all at once if I were to make it yellow, for example. The next tool you want to know is the direct selection tool. This is A on your keyboard. This will allow you to select the individual points of your mockup. So each mockup is just made of a variety of points, like so. And for example, if I drag and select all of this bottom section, I can now drag this up and crop our t-shirt, or alternatively make it longer. There we go. So you can do all sorts of things with this. You can play around with it, change the shape of your mockup to whatever you like. That is the direct selection tool. As for the pen tool, this is just for creating pen lines. You just click to create a point and either just go to where you want your next point to be and it will create a straight line, or you can drag and hold and it will curve your line, and you can create some pretty cool things with this. This requires practice. Just practice using it and eventually you will get good at using it. For example, if I wanted some reflective lining going down the front of my t-shirt, I could create these lines. While holding down Alt, I'm going to click on this line and drag and hold, and it's going to create a duplicate. That's because I'm holding down Alt. I'm going to right click, transform, reflect. This will reflect my line, And there we go. I'm going to reflect it vertically and just place it in the same spot as on the other side. And I'm going to select both of these lines, I'm going to make them white. I will go through this in a second. I'm going to select both of my lines, and down here I'm going to select both of my lines, and down here you can change the color of either the fill, which is the inside of a shape, or the outline, which is what this is. It's just a pen line, so that counts as an outline. So I'm going to change the outline color to white. I'll make that slightly thicker, and there you go. You've got some lining going down the front of your t-shirt. The next on your list is your shapes. If you hold down this, if you just hold down, it will bring up a variety of shapes to pick from. You can pick any of these, and they're pretty self-explanatory and they're pretty simple, but you just drag and hold down and it will create your shape of choice. I feel like this is a good time so just to go through the colors again, you have the fill color here, which is yellow, and the outline, which is white. And if I were to double click on the fill, I could change it to red. With this selected, if I were to double click on the fill and change it to red, for example, and then I could change the outline to black. And there we go. The next one that you'll want to know is the text tool. This will allow you to just add any text. So you can just click and type. For example, if I write my name, there we go. I can drag this over to my t-shirt, make it bigger. And over here in the properties tab, which you will see me using when we design the mockups, I will click on my text, and in the character section, I can change my font to whatever font I want. I'm just gonna pick this for now. There we go. And I'm gonna make that white as well. Now we're gonna jump down to the eyedropper tool. You will see me using this a lot in this video, but I'm just gonna give you a demonstration. If I select this star and use the eyedropper tool, and I then click on the base of my t-shirt, for example, it's going to copy all of the attributes from whatever I press on. So now it is yellow fill with a black outline, just like the t-shirt. Whereas if I were to do this with the Balaclava hoodie, it's going to go to grey and black, just like so. You will see me using that later in the video. And that is all of the tools explained. I'm going to set this back to how it was, just remove all of this. And now we can start designing our mock-ups and showing you how to actually use all of the tools in a practical scenario. So I'm going to create my mock-ups. So starting with the hoodie, I'm going to go with a black base for my hoodie. So I'm going to select the base and also these bits of the hood, and I'm going to set these all, and I'm going to make this a dark black color like so. On the inside of the hood, I like to go for a darker shade to add some depth to my mock-up like so. And I'm going to select the zip and I'm going to make it white. For my design, I'm going to go for a no under 18s design, as you can see here, which is just a circle. Using the shape tool, I've just created a circle like so. I've gone to the properties tab and removed the fill. Now my circle is just an outline. I'm going to make the thickness of the outline much larger. I'm going to set it to probably 10. I'm going to select this and set the color to red. I'm even going to make this outline thicker to 15. I'm now going to select the pen tool and I'm going to create my line through the middle. So just select a point over here, and I think about there is where I want it. I think that looks good. And using the text tool, I'm just going to type the number 18 and decide on a font. I think I'm pretty happy with that one there. I'm going to do what we did before. I'm going to select the red outline, right click, arrange, bring to front, and that's going to bring that on top of the number 18 like so. I'm going to select my text and make it white. Going to drag this over to my hoodie and just place this across the chest like so. I'm going to make it quite big, and once again I'm going to select my zip, right click, arrange, bring to front, so that my zip is on top of the graphic. And to finish it off, I want to create this kind of washed effect. The way I like to do this is to select the paintbrush tool. In properties, it allows you to change your brush. So instead of it just being a normal brush like this, you can actually click down here and select a rougher brush like so, which kind of helps with the effect I'm trying to create. It doesn't look amazing, I just set the stroke up to a higher number, like 15, and sort of create my lines like so, where I want them to be. And I will just select this and change the opacity to much lower, like so. And it's kind of created this acid wash effect on top of my hoodie. But it is going over the edge of my hoodie, which we do not want. So I'm going to select all of these lines that I've just created. I'm going to right click and group them together. Now this is next on our list. This was clipping masks. These are really important. This will stop this going outside the border of your hoodie like so. To do any clipping mask, you want to send the thing you want to mask behind the shape. So I want to use this shape and I want to mask my washed effect. So I've sent the washed effect to the back. I'm going to select the washed effect and then select the base of my hoodie, holding shift to select them both, right click and press make clipping mask. And there we go, success. It has just removed the color from the base, but that is fine. I recommend using the direct selection tool, just finding your line here, and I'm going to use the eyedropper tool to get the same color from the back over here. And there we go, back to normal, and we have this washed effect. I'm going to do the same thing on the back by double clicking to go inside of the clipping mask. I'm going to copy paste it on top of the back and do the exact same thing. Send this to the back, select my base as well by holding shift, right click, make clipping mask, direct selection tool, find your edge, click on it, eyedropper tool, and I'm going to use this one this time. There we go. And now I have a washed effect on my hoodie, and I think that's looking pretty good. So as for the bottoms, as for the pants, these are some slightly flared open leg sweatpants. As for these, I'm going to go for a real tree camo effect. As for these, I'm going to go for a real tree camo effect, as you can see here, and I'm going to create this. I'm just going to go to Google and search real tree camo, go to images, and I'm going to find one that I like. So I think this one looks pretty good for what we're trying to create. I'm just going to right click, copy and paste like so. I'm going to size this up to the size of my mock-up. Now, the problem with this currently is that it is a PNG image, whereas all of this is vector, and you can zoom in infinitely and it's not going to go blurry, but this is a PNG, so it goes very blurry. To fix this, there is an excellent tool inside of Adobe Illustrator. You just want to click on your PNG, and down here, this is a secret weapon. You want to press image trace and then high fidelity photo. It's going to take a second to do its thing, but once it is complete, and there we go, just like that, it has vectorized our image. It is now a vector. You can zoom in, there's no pixels, and it looks great. So I am going to do the exact same thing with the clipping mask. I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to select both of my flares. I'm going to select this flare, arrange, bring to front, drag this back over. I'm going to start with the base and select the pattern, right click, make clipping mask, just like before, and there we go. All that we're missing is the outline, so just like before, direct selection tool, find the outline, and I'm going to make the stroke 1 over here, and I'm going to do the exact same thing, but this time with the waist. So I'm going to bring all this to the front again, select the waist, select the pattern, make clipping mask, and there we are. Instead of doing that twice, I'm going to copy this over for the back view, and I'm just going to place my number 18 here on the leg, and I think that looks good there. Gonna make it slightly bigger actually, like so. Next, we're gonna create this soccer shirt. This is slightly harder, but it is really easy. It's the same basic steps, so we're gonna put this together now. I'm going to make the base this blue color. I'm going to remove this little section here, just remove that, and I'm going to set the collar to red. I'm going to select the collar and make it red. The inside of the shirt is also blue, and I'm going to make it slightly darker, like I said before, to create some depth. Now for this section here, we want to create a shape here with our pen tool. Now we want to create a shape here with the pen tool that we can use as a clipping mask for these rectangles. So these are just rectangle, 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 and they've been clipping masked on a shape on the bottom of this shirt. So if I get my pen tool, I'm just going to create this shape. So I'm going to do a line from here across to here. I'm I'm holding shift to make sure my line stays perfectly straight. And from here, I'm just going to freehand the pen tool. So this is how the pen tool works. I'm going to drag and hold and make my line like so, and just keep doing this all the way across the border, dragging and holding like so. And once you're done, once you get to the original point, just click like so, and there we go. Now we have this shape individually on top like so, ready to use as a clipping mask. Now to curve this line here, with the pen tool selected, I'm just going to hold Alt and it is going to curve this line like so. Super easy. And now we are ready to create our rectangles with the shape tool. Just select rectangle tool, create one rectangle, move it over here just so we know. Holding Alt, you're going to drag this rectangle, and because you are holding Alt, it's going to create a duplicate. I'm going to do the same again, the same again, and the same again. I want 5 rectangles showing on my shirt, so with them all selected, I'm going to make the width slightly less to make sure they all fit on there, and I'm going to set every other one to red. There we go. I'm going to make them taller. They're a little bit short right now. And the same again. Select this bottom one, arrange, bring to front, move these back up to where I want them to be, and when they are where I want them to be, select them both, right click, make clipping mask. There we go. Use the direct selection tool, find your outline, use the eyedropper tool to get this outline, use the eyedropper tool again using the base, and here we are. It is coming along very nicely. I am going to remove these 2 lines from here, and I'm going to create my own because I want them to be slightly more curved. So with the pen tool selected, there we go, happy with that. And I'm going to hold Alt, drag this over here, right click, transform, reflect, and reflect this vertically. May just have to slightly adjust these like so. Now I'm going to make these white. I'm going to double click down here on the outline box, make these white. Now see how it's currently going over this line. I want this line to be on top, so I'm going to select them both, right click, arrange, bring to front. There we go. And to create this little glow effect that I've got, this is kind of unnecessary, but I like to do this. Select both of them, up here in effect, stylize, outer glow, and just play around with the settings, set it to white, increase the opacity, decrease the blur slightly, and there we go. Now I do want this section here to also be red. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did before and just create a shape manually that I will then turn red. And there we go, and I'm just gonna use the eyedropper tool to make this red, and I'm gonna drag this down for the moment and just make sure that my whole collar is selected with all of the little lines and everything. Right click, arrange, bring to front, move this back up to where it was. And finally I'm going to add my centerpiece and my back number. To create the back, I'm once again just going to use the front. I'm going to save this little collar here, but I'm going to delete all of this. Holding Alt, I'm going to copy this over. I'm going to delete all of the collar, all of the details from the collar. I'm just going to select them and press delete and drag this collar down. May need to shape it up. There we go. It will fit perfectly. Make that red with the eyedropper tool, and there we go. For my centerpiece here, I'm going to have the oval going across here. I'm going to make the oval blue, and using the text tool, I'm just going to type out my name and place that in the center like so. Set this to white, and on the back I'm going to go for a big number. I'm going to copy over this number from over here, arrange, bring to front, and I'll go for a big number 45. And there we have our soccer shirt all done. We've got 3 out of 5 done. For the t-shirt, I'm going to go for a green t-shirt. Select the base of my t-shirt and make it green. Go for that sort of shade of green. And I want a yellow logo, so it's kind of like Brazilian colors. So for my logo, I'm going to create a circle. I'm going to get rid of the fill in here like we did before. Properties tab, fill, no fill. This box here. Increase the size of my stroke. I think that's the sort of color I'm going to go for. And I'm going to create a letter A I'm going to shape this up, make this bigger. Now currently this is text, but I want to convert this into a shape that I can edit with the direct selection tool, and you can do this very easily. Just right click and create outlines. This box here, it says create outlines. You want to press on that. Now you can use the direct selection tool and you have all of your individual points. I just want to get rid of this little bit here. I'm going to adjust this point up here to make sure this is all straight, and using my pen tool, I'm going to find, and using my pen tool and holding shift to add to this part, I'm going to hold shift and click on this point here and just join them up by clicking on this point here, and there we go. And I just want it to look like there's flames coming off the letter A, so using my pen tool again, just going to create some flames. And there we go. I'm happy with how that is looking. I'm going to make sure that my outline is still centered. I'm going to reduce the thickness a little bit to 9, and I'm going to group all of this together on the inside. Group this, set this to the same color of yellow as the outline, and there we go. I'm just going to drag this onto the center of my t-shirt. Now as for labeling your mock-up so it is ready to send to your manufacturer, if you do not want to create a tech pack, which you do not need to do for basic items, a tech pack is like a multi-page PDF including every detail that you want your manufacturer to understand. But what you can do alternatively to creating a tech pack is to just label your mock-up like so. And you can just label your mock-up like so. That could say puff print. You could label the GSM, and if you wanted to, you could specify the distance for your graphics. Now finally, we have our Balaclava hoodie. If you have watched this far into the video, please press subscribe and like this video. But for our Balaclava hoodie, I'm going to create this devil looking balaclava, as the brand is called Syna. So I'm just going to ungroup this like we have for all of them, select all of my parts and make them red, as well as my hood, as well as my pocket. Going to make the inside of the hood slightly darker, and just using the pen tool, I'm just going to create the horns like so, and I'm just going to move all of this to the front. Drag this horn down, and there we go. I think that's looking pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing I did before where I reflected my item. There we go. Have that on both sides. Now these are looking a bit skinny, so I'm going to use the direct selection tool and just make these lines wider. This just takes some trial and error, just playing around with it. You get better at using all of these tools the more you use them, as with everything in life. There we go. I think that one's looking better, so I'm going to use this one. I'm going to flip this one. There we go. We don't want anything on the back, so I'm going to remove the back view. And I'm just going to get the Syna logo from online. Syna logo. There we go. Copy, paste, and once again, this is a PNG. I want it to be an SVG, so I'm going to use the image trace tool. I'm going to use default this time because it is a basic image, and there we go. It has done the perfect job. This is what it usually does. This was a very complex example that I used earlier, but usually it's just for simple graphics like this, and it works perfectly. Now this is all currently one image, but down here you can press expand, and now it is separate parts, but they are all grouped together. So you want to ungroup, and now they are ungrouped. I'm going to select all of these white parts and just delete them. Delete, delete, delete. Gonna select this, group this together. I'm gonna make it white. I will place it in the center of the chest, but I'm going to put a oval around it like so. Make this slightly darker, and I'm going to bring these arms to the front, as well as this pocket and all of its stitch lines. Bring all of this to the front, and now this is going to be behind. Perfect. I'm going to move the text to the front, as this shouldn't overlap. There we go. Got my sphere like so, and I'm just going to add the little horns that we created earlier. I'm going to add them to the S on the Syna logo. I will remove the outline, make them white, place one of them there, move this one over here, transform, reflect, put the other horn there, and there we go. Now we are all done. We have created all of our mock-ups, a wide range of different mock-ups. Hopefully you fully understand now how you design professional mock-ups. This is how all of the biggest brands are doing it, and now you can do it just like the biggest brands. My mockup pack, of course, is in the link in the description. This is the latest version, version 2.4. This was the previous version. This is updated weekly with example mockups. But thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope that you learned something. Press subscribe if you did, and I will see you in the next one.